Hey music fans, this is Ari Koinuma and welcome to the Power of Music show. Today we're going to look at the leading single from Metallica's most recent album, Lux Æterna. And we are going to look at it from songwriting and arrangement perspective to explore what gives this song its power. So let's start with the obvious place, the main riff. It goes like this. Wow, it's so awesome, isn't it? So what's fascinating about this main riff is that key to its hook and power is in the last note. Now listen to this if I were to play it without that last note. I mean, yeah, it still kind of does it, but it doesn't really, it's too smooth, right? It just doesn't have something to kind of like give it, it's a little oof, that effect that the last note has. Now the last note actually is containing what we call the blue note. It's rock and roll and metal has its root in blues music, and then it often uses this blues scale to create its riffs and stuff. The key of A, it goes like, and then the key to that sound is this note. It's called tritone, and in the old days, in centuries ago, they called it devil's tone, and it just has that evil sound to it. Rock and metal, particularly metal, tends to sort of accentuate that note to kind of create the sense of that danger and evilness that it comes with the genre. So when Metallica plays this riff, that's the note that it's the last note of the riff is going to. Now if I play it with a note that's more or less in the regular key of A minor, it goes like this. See, that doesn't work at all. So by inserting the most distinct and evil sounding note at the end of the riff, they make that riff more catchy and has more attitude. So that's what's going on in the guitar in terms of the main riff, and in metal music the riff is like the heart of the song, but that's not all there is to it, right? Metallica's part of its sound is obviously the personality of the four musicians involved, and then particularly Lars Ulrich has a strong personality as a drummer and his signature style. I mean, you can kind of hear it, when the drums start kicking in the intro, right? That sort of a formal momentum and just aggression in the drums. Now I created a kind of a basic hard rock beat using Logic's AI drummer at the same tempo, right? And just to see how it will come across with different, like a drum beat. Take a listen to this. Alright, so that's not bad, right? I mean, that could work, but it just doesn't sound like Metallica. You can never overlook the role that a drummer plays in a rock band. Rhythm is the foundation of music, and when there is something interesting going on with the rhythm, it lifts up the whole music. A rock band is only as good as its drummer, and in rock context, the drummer creates this container in which all the other pieces of the parts go. So when the drummer creates a big container, there's just a lot that you can put into the music, and the whole thing sounds good and huge. When the drummer is small, you're putting a lot of stuff, and ends up being small. I know he's a, a much discussed drummer in the musician circle, and I just wanted to affirm his influence and role in the world of Metallica. Alright, so let's now look at the melody, shall we?
Anticipation, in domination, a sea of heartbeat as one unified. Magnification, all generations, approaching thunder, awaiting the light. Full speed or nothing, full speed or nothing. Lux Æterna, Lux Æterna, yeah.
So Metallica is not known to be the most melodic band. I mean, that just kind of is the genre of thrash metal. But what's great about that melody is that he uses the contrast in terms of the range to accentuate different sections of the song so that you can correctly sort of bring the climax to the chorus with the highest note. I'll spare you my trying to sing, Hetfield's range, but if I were to kind of paraphrase the melody on the guitar, it goes kind of like this. So notice again, the last note is the highest note. What's true about melody and any sort of motion in music, whether it's the chord progression or bass note and stuff, is that when it's going up, it builds the energy, and then when it goes down, it settles the energy, right? So this song obviously has this soaring kind of takeoff kind of chorus, because it goes up, and it goes up to the very highest note in the song, at least so far. And that's by design, is that the Metallica says, yes, this is the chorus, so we're gonna make it lift up, and then that means that the verse and the pre-chorus before that is gonna stay in the lower range, so that the chorus does feel like, not just feel like, it is physically it is higher note. Alright, so let's jump ahead to the bridge or the guitar solo section, shall we?
Lux Æterna.
So what's cool about that bridge/guitar solo section is that the whole song up to this point has been squarely in the key of A. But then when the guitar solo arrives, they go into a whole different key. So at first it goes... So that goes in the key of E, which is lower, right? And then again, lower key kind of changes the dynamics and sort of settles the energy a little bit, and then goes into this B flat. Like that. And so the note of, or the key of B flat in relation to A is like half step above, and what that creates is the, again, sort of a half step distance is one of the most dissonant in music. But then, because it's so dissonant, it wants to resolve to the note that's adjacent to it when it comes back, which is the A. Like that, right? So it just really creates a sense of journey in the bridge section, which is a totally appropriate place to go on a journey in the song. It's just, yeah, so you heard the verse and chorus in the A, and yay, rah, rah, that's good. and then off, let's take a left turn, let's go to E, let's go to B flat, and then woo, it's a totally different key, totally different feel, right? And that creates the sense of arrival, coming home, when the band goes back to the main riff. Alright, so the final point I want to make today is the creative use of stop and go. This is probably the favorite feature of this song. It just gets me so excited because I think it's super creative. But Metallica inserts this sort of a bat, hard-hitting motif in the key moments of the song to create a sense of unpredictability into this song. So the first instance is at this intro here, right? Yeah, so it's a concise 4 hits, that, right? And then it's just introducing the motif here. And then right before we go to the bridge section, we hear it a little longer right here.
Lux Æterna.
And then at the end of the bridge section, to kind of herald the return to home, which is right here. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah. And then at the very end.
Lux Æterna. Yeah.
Ah, it's so good. You can tell I get excited about this because I think it's just I think it was right that the Metallica picked this song as a lead single because it's just so impactful. It is so catchy, and but then what really I think, in my opinion, lifts it up to the next level among other songs on this album or in other even Metallica catalog is that creative use of that hard-hitting stop and go motif. It introduces that just briefly in the beginning, and then really hammering on it at the beginning, and then at the end of the bridge is the most elaborate sort of incarnation of that, and they just create a strong variation that just really digs in, and then has that like one last chord in the one last instance of that in a totally different key, and then goes back into the last verse, and then at the end to cap it off. And then so having these same motif, and notice again the rhythm is very distinct. That tat 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 is very recognizable, right? It just creates the cohesiveness in the song, and it just has this sense of starting with something and bookending with something, and it just gives the song a sense of consistency. And yet, because there are variations in each instance, so it also creates a sense of adventure on unpredictability. You don't know quite how it's gonna go, and that's what makes this song so interesting to listen to it over and over, because of that sort of sense of adventure and journey that this part creates. I think it's a master songwriting arrangement stroke there. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you got some new insights out of why Metallica is the world's biggest metal band now, and with their long distinguished career, they can sort of pull out some bags of tricks from things they've done to create this really impactful, punchy lead single out of their latest album. With Power Music Show, I intend to explore different pieces of music and then try to bring out insights that will, work for musicians, but also music fans in terms of getting more out of the listening experience, so that when you listen to these songs again, you kind of understand some of what's going on, get more enjoyment out of that. So if you enjoyed this content, please give me a like and subscribe, and then I will catch you next time. Thank you for watching.